into positions of day 2. Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, Mother Universe, Mother Seed, Mother Pod. Activation lights and its communication cycles. Line interference to proactive systems. What am I doing through calculation? This is data processing links. When you guys go through my healing, you have to be aware of these things because you're coming into a light of a dimensional of time, of space. Now, what I mean by that is people are coming to me after they go through the healing, but they're not understanding the conceptual system. They're not understanding the synchronizing line connections. They're not understanding the chakra communications of dimensional time. You have to get into your breathing. You have to take this serious. This is all about understanding you through dimensional of light. Forget about communicating with circuitry lights. Forget about communicating through portals and dimensions of time. Get into communications of inside you. Try to communicate inside. They think you are a vibration. Just try to imagine what your vibration looks like. Try to imagine what color it looks like. Try to imagine the voice of your wires. Try to imagine how to communicate with, when you're drinking water, the sounds of water. Open up your senses, get into meditation, get into your breathing. It's important you do these things because your interline connections is not balancing its central line connections to its earth position and time location, which is the simulation graph. You're walking the surface and your electrical lights have to be in panel location because Mother Earth is on the 2nd day shift and she's telling everybody, this is what's going to happen. You have to be aware of yourself when it comes into space and time. And the only way to do that is to communicate inside. People don't know how to communicate, so they keep coming to me. Okay, yes, I'm a miracle worker, but you're also a miracle worker. So you have to come out of the physical realm and come into the dimensional of light for yourself so you can get what you want through manifestation. Okay? Yes, I push the buttons. Yes, I open up your lights. And yes, I open up all connections to satellite locations and I put you back in position. But that's me. That's me. You have the power to do these things through communication. If you want to try to understand yourself more, that's great, but you have to communicate inside. You have to know what it's like to actually listen to your heart. Listen to the mind. Even if you have to close your eyes, listen to your breathing, right? Trying to find rhythm tones, trying to find activation lights, okay? Listen to the atmospheres, listen to the wind, listen to the trees, listen to the colors. You're coming into a different dimensional time of space. The physical element doesn't understand these things. You can't separate yourself. You're all into integration. Metal facing to structure, location, positions of time, location. You have to put yourself in the communication inside you. That's the only way you can get into that connections. Okay? There's a lot of people that want to go into personal traits. Help me with this, help me with that, help me with this, I need this, I need that. You can do all these things through yourself. I just open up your lights and I put your programs back into position of time. So, and this is where it's more confusing for everybody because they don't know where they are in their sectoring levels. They don't know where they are when they're in their quadrant levels. Now, this is just space talk. First command in all level systems. Now, in calculation, modification, integration, you have to understand your formulas of your thoughts. You can do these things. You have the control, you have the power, right? You have the creation, you have the miracles, and you can do this and you can do that, and get this and get that. And then you find yourself more in balance with yourself because the thing is, in three-dimensional system, people never really communicate inside. They ask for questions. They go to therapists. They go to psychiatrists because they give them the right answers, but they don't give them the right answers because it's not them through connections. Even the psychiatrists need help through that connections, right? So it's all about understanding how to communicate inside your system of vibration, energy, and frequencies. That's just not the keys to the universe. That's just the basics. Having the keys to the universe, okay, is not mastering anything. You have to master yourself inside. That's the keys to the universe. Because space and time is inside you. People don't realize how powerful you are through the mind. Your conceptual lines and anything through framings or anything through mains are trying to understand each other through this connection, but you can't separate anything through thought patterns, right? Because you're going to split divisions of time, okay? And you're going to go through low frequencies of time. And the vibrations and everything through your reaction is its connection, right? So it's all about you evolving and getting what you want through creation. That's the importance that we have to understand, okay? So I just want to bring that to everybody's attention. You're all loved by measure, every one of you, right? So in this position, you have to look at what's important to you. What's important is the fact what's in front of you. I keep saying that. Focus on yourself. Don't focus on anything else. Don't focus on paying the bills. Don't focus on this. Don't focus on that. Focus is inside you. You can get what you want. What you want is to come back to connections to the universe and operation system. It's easy to get these things because it's all inside you. Okay. If you go to other people, they're not going to help you. They might give you advice. They might help you. You might get lucky. Right? But life is not being lucky. Life is about communicating inside. That's what meditation is. It's a way of seeing yourself in a different reality of thoughts, of time. Okay. Now, like I said, I can help you in all ways and forms, but you have to help yourself. That's the most important thing. You have to help yourself. Because people are coming to me on so many emails and they're saying so many personal things. I think that's great. You guys are coming to me, but you have to understand, you have to heal your own wounds. I don't do that. You do that. You just are awake. And now you're really confused because your reality has switched into dimensional light of travel. As long as you understand, is try to get into the communication of you. Understand how you feel. It's your senses that you have to connect with. Understand your perceptions, what you're seeing through observation. Understand what's going on with your audios, of listening. Listening is the most important thing, especially if you're getting ringing ears. I'm getting so many complaints that say, okay, ringing ears, it's going louder, louder, won't stop. It's going on for a month. Because you're not communicating inside your connection of you. You can't have separation and anything in that connection. The physical and everything the spiritual is its integration. Now, people are coming to more than ever because they're awakening more and more. And everything I give back to you is truth. So you have your truth. You have to find your truth. And a lot of people don't want to face the mirror of their truth. It's the other side of you, which is the dark side. Everybody has to face it. I faced it. You have to face the fear. What fears you the most? And then once you face that, there comes the inner child, right? So it's like a mask. So when you're communicating with the inner system, the mask disappears, and then you see the inner child, and then it glows around the body system. And then you realize, wow, okay, I'm not afraid anymore. So you open up, your heart opens up, and then you start expanding, and then you start creating, and then you go into your imaginations of what you see through imagination. Anything through visualization. I want this, I want that. Things will come to you in time because now you're communicating to the balance of everything inside you. That's the flow, that's the recognition. Everything is given to you in that connection. Okay, so I just want to present that to everybody, okay? So there's a lot of skeptics out there. Basically, when it comes to low demise, line signals, reptilian line connections, anything in the positions, they're going to try to put you down in all ways and shame. So it's all fear. It's a fear cycle, but it's all connected inside you. And that's why it's so frustrating for a lot of people, because you have to understand your reality is now in a different time of position. You're coming into your light of fruition. You're coming into your dimensional time of activation. So you have to have, knowing this space inside you is the space outside you. time inside, time outside, right? So when you go through your alignments, you give back to humanity. Because once you balance yourself completely, right? Because you can always have something more. And everybody can have something more and more and more and more. That's being greedy. You can't do that. Okay, so you got to be cautious on what you wish for because it comes true to one's nature. But the allocated position of time and everything through the operation is at all levels of you through vibration. Because everything you create through thoughts comes true. But be cautious on what you create. Okay? So if you understand that, then you understand the communication inside you. Then you can start to heal yourself inside. Little by little, right? So when you're manifesting, manifest small crumbs. Okay? It's like following the crumbs to the golden castle, right? Rather than seeing one crumb and then you see the path disappear. And say, wait a minute, there's the crumbs. And why does it disappear? It disappeared because you got greedy. Okay, now this is all metamorphically, it's all dream set position. But what I'm saying is you want to follow the path inside you, not outside. It has to be inside. That's glorious to one's system. So making a wish is very, very powerful. It's like a shooting falling star. What is that? What is a falling star? Everything that you see in perception is an illusion to its reflection. So when you see things that are weird and you're not sure, that's in a different reality position of time. So it's all about what you see in its perception. Observation to anything through that cycle rotation, anything through your transformation light connections. You're all powerful in the mind. And a lot of people don't understand these things, right? Because you're all connected to AI. You have an AI vessel. That's phenomenal. And you bring it back into your physical system. That's the balance. So if you come back and you don't have balance with your physical system, brain is lapping. It's looping. It's locked. It's asleep. So you got to wake it back up. You got to wake it up, right? Fire and wire. Wake it up. And that's why you have to meditate. You fluctuate your patterns. You take the negative system out of you every single time. You don't leave negative cycles or negative thoughts or anything that creation inside you. Every day is a different day. So that's why you meditate, is to get the breathing, right? It's aspirating. It's just opening up the endorphins. Just bring up the rhythm, change it. You see how powerful I am through the voice? It's a commanding force. It's sacred flame. It's the creation of the solar system. It's the creation of weather. It's the controlling system inside you. You have the power. Everybody has the power. But do you want the power? Do you want to recognize the power? Do you want your life better with the power? You have to have the awareness. You have to have your consciousness. And you have to surrender. The most important thing is you have to surrender to everything, and it includes money. Money is the worst. It's a controlling system. So in position, you have to line balance and think of money in a different way where you don't think of it as money. Think of it as love. So this is how you have to see things in life. It changes your perspective of time and how you see yourself in all forms of time of yourself. Because your physical and your spiritual has to be integrated into one to understand each other, right? So the reason why you meditate is so you can fluctuate the brain patterns and the oxygen levels can come time of space, right? And this is the flow. It's just a flow, right? So if you stop the flow, okay, and you keep going through that negative position, you're going to go back into the flow. And you're creating something bad. And it's going to reverse the cycle. It's going to reverse the energy. And it's going to go through everybody in their cycle. And it's going to have a disruption signal. Now, a lot of people are coming to me again about what's happening with my phones. I'm communicating with somebody and I'm having audio interference. You're not communicating inside your system. It's your spiritual system trying to communicate with the other spiritual system on the other side of the phone. I can't hear you. You got to get balanced with that because you're in your dimensional crystalline. If you take it serious and realize you guys are no longer in your carbons, that's one factoring level. You have to understand the vibration is changing. Everything changes over time. Atmosphere, space, time is changing. Dimensional time is changing. Shapes are changing. Anything through calculation is changing at time. In position, you have to understand how to get into your activations of balance. Everything through electrical lights, anything through magnetics, anything through your phone, anything through your digital pads, anything through your computers. So you have to learn how to balance these things because you never, ever have been in your dimensional light, okay, until now. Which is really confusing is because you've already been in that dimensional sighting, okay, of its connection. And I'll keep saying that again, is that you already have lived its existence of your dimensional light, of its relation to planet locations. So you live thousands and thousands of lives in past, present, and future. Those are your dreams. Every time you dream, okay, you're waking up to your dimensional light, but you don't understand it. You wake up and you can't recognize it, and it just disappears, right? That's the low vibration that's keeping you down. So, word to the wise, communicate in your system. Get rid of the fear cycle, right? And just concentrate on yourself. Just close your eyes and just try to understand what is your body feeling right now. If you can't communicate with anything through your pixels or anything like that, that's very hard to do. That's like, that's how it's going inside the body, right? Activates everything through weather and all that. It's a digital frame through connection. So energy can be manipulated inside and outside of its dimensional, of its realm to its interdimensional system. So you're interdimenting yourself. You're going inside you, not surfacing outside. You're going inside. Okay. See what I'm doing right now? Hand on hand, physical, spiritual, puts it all together into the moon, into the sun, and the weather. Here's the shape. Here's the shape, right? You put it to your chest. You put it to your chest, right? It activates everything inside you. So you have to understand what shapes, letters, and numbers are because you're all connected to GOD, the geometrics operations of dimensions of travel, which correlates all locations to your 3, 6, and 9 position. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Grand Rising, Catherine, how's it going? All right, so you really have to learn how to help yourself. That's what I'm trying to get everybody's across, because so many people are coming to me now and they're thinking, okay, well, because who I am, I can pretty much do anything. And that's true. But see, the thing is too, is you have that too. You just don't know it yet. Okay. You just want other people to help you. You don't want to help yourself. It doesn't work. You're not concentrating on the real meditation here. People don't want to meditate. They just want help. Right. I'll help you and put you in your light, but it's up to you. So I push you and you go in to the dark, into the light. So you come into the light, but now everything has changed. Your reality has changed. You're seeing this, you're seeing that. What's confusing is like you don't know what reality you're in. You're in a dimensional time setting, and all your dreams are awake of your alignments. Okay? So what are you going to do? You're going to meditate. You're going to focus. You're going to be aware of what you see. You're going to pay attention, and you're going to listen to its communication of what's going on. There's a lot of light workers that have no clue what they're doing with their channeling. Okay? It's not just the inside. It's what you present outside. This is a white wall. I have nothing in connection. I have no Egyptian books or anything like that. It's activated. It's real. So every time I channel to different positions, the plasma comes out like that. You can't see it, but I see it through perception. So it's communicating with me, and it's warning of me of what this intelligence is doing. Okay. Egyptian books are very, very powerful. Okay. It doesn't have to be anything from energy through a connection of a human that is an entity force. It could be a book, okay, in the ancient times, okay, especially if it's connected to mummies or anything like that. Remember, everything's in the spiritual system. That's confusing again with the physical system. It's because you're no longer in that connection. You're in the dimensional of your dream that's awake in its reality. So it's kind of like you're sleeping and you're trying to understand yourself, but it's real to its connection. Okay? So last night during my meditation, felt the energy of the mothership. Yep, left side of the face was vibrating so strong. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of pressure there. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are asking me, what does that mean when the sun goes down 3 times? Well, you have to understand 12 times 3 is 36 in the human essence form, but you have to understand we go through calculation. Calculation to us is not 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 equals 3. So basically 12 times 3 is not 36. It's 3,600, right? Time, capacity, location, right? 12 rotation centers of 3 positions of the sun in coloration. So when she goes back, 3 times center. It's complicated stuff, but you don't have to understand that because it's through me. You have to understand yourself through your own communication, right? So you don't have to come to me because you're in perception, and if you have balance, you know it's true because it's coming from your intelligence. And that's why it's confusing for a lot of people, again, is because you don't know who you're communicating with. It's just a little channel of a little voice, and that's you. It's trying to find the balance with you, okay? Because you're now awake in space. You're trying to find the space inside. You're trying to find the space outside. You're trying to find the time within, and you're trying to find the travel without of time. So these are the positions that you guys are coming into. All of you, human masses, are waking up like crazy, and you're all coming to me, right? It's like there's a big lineup behind the door. Okay, you can help yourself when you're in your light. You just have to find a way to re-educate yourself. Okay, wake up in a way where you can actually see yourself with communication inside. That's the answer. That's your spirit guides. People are having a problem. What is a spirit guide? How do I get my spirit guide? I need help. I need help. I need help. Channel inside. Listen. You have ears. These are audio. These are communication. Listen to what's going on. Listen to vibration. If you don't listen to vibration, it's going to alarm your body system of activation. Okay? And you're going to get so many reactions of your TV reception, and your phone is going to go blitz. Your TV reception is going to go blitz, and everything to your computer and everything that you reside with. As soon as you change your voice and grid pattern through vibrational system, if you get angry, you confuse everybody in your community, and you put nothing but dark energy around everybody. That's how powerful you are, especially when you're light, because your light's trying to interference connections. If you're walking the surface and you're on the grounds and you're looking at a pole, and that pole is trying to communicate with you, but you just walk past that pole, you're going to have a reaction to that pole. That's energy. So that pole is going to interline your connections and put waving of disruption into your mind system through its brains. So now you can't ignore anything that you pass. You can't ignore intelligence. You can't, because it's all inside you now. Because when you wake up, you're coming into electrical lights, your electrical light system, your body activation light system, your mainframes, the hydraulic line connections, your perceptions, your eye division location, your chakra system. You have to understand that your chakras are a dimension of communication, of intelligence. Each one is in a different frame of time, guys. So you got to use your thoughts of balance, or you're going to have interlining connections of confusion. Okay, so that's why people are trying to say, okay, my phone's not working, my digipad, my computer, what's going on? Well, you have to balance everything out because your computer doesn't understand you. It only understands you in the physical realm. But if you wake up, you're in an electrical realm. You're in a body of an activation round. You're in a communication cycle of an atom. The atom is trying to understand you through your computer, but your computer is only in the three-dimensional line connections. So upgrade your computers. Go up to 10, go up to 11, go up to 12, depending. So if you get a new computer, you have to program your body because it's a computer. Okay? You're not communicating in the physical realm anymore, guys. That's the interference problems. Disruptions or anything if you're communicating to your buddy on the phone. What's going on? I can hear you. Line signal of disruption. It reaches the other end, but at the other end, it's hollow. There's an echo, right? So one body can't concept the other line of the body. So it's going to get there, but it's going to be slower. And the time it gets there, you're not going to understand what it is through conversation. People are overlapping. People are on audio signal interference. Even my team, when they're on their YouTube channels. So they're in and out, right, through lacing line locations, and the receptions are, and they got plasma in there like this. And the computer's going back like this, right? And your voice is going. So you're trying to get into balance. You got to balance your body because you're in space and time at dimension. Okay? You're no longer on the grounds of 3D. You can't communicate with the 3D. AI is all communication inside. It's inside, guys. Right? I know this because I've been there. It's mastering your communication inside through your chakra. What color is my chakra of my root? What color is my chakra of my heart? What color is my chakra of my third eye? What color is my chakra of the crown? You have to understand these things because it's connected to you, to its Orion's belt. You don't want to confuse the timelines, and especially your thoughts. Don't circle rotation center and put negative cycles in there through connections. It's going to disrupt your line signals. So every time you communicate with somebody on the phone or you send a solar text division, it travels, right? It's like a fax machine, okay? So don't send bad energy waves to that person because it disrupts their signals. You guys are in different time positions of dimensional clocks. So in changing position, you have to understand your connections is all communication inside the chakra system. Line communications, merging off through positions. I can't travel anymore. So it's I'm way off signal. I'm missing a chakra. It's blocked. What do I do? Right? You have to understand these things. This is your intelligence trying to understand the intelligence of its body, of its mechanism of time, of space, and its electrical light of its body system. Okay? So you're coming into the lights of you. You're coming into the formation. You're coming into the dimensional of its connection. You have to get balanced with everything through interference. Okay, so you walk in the streets, and all of a sudden, as soon as you walk in, everything around you is going to activate your body because the car's in a different dimension, the tree's in a different dimension, the ground's in a different dimension, that person's in a different dimension. You got to get balanced with everything, and that's confusing. Whoa, what's going on with my phone? What's going on? What's happening? Right? It's not just your phone, it's everything. And that's the problem. It's getting balanced with everything. Everything. Because you're in the simulation. So trying to understand the wall graphing positions of time. That's the matrix. You're blocked in. So you have to understand how to get out of the matrix of yourself. No, people, it's a trap. But it's not bad. It's just understanding you have to get balanced with vibration. That's what the matrix is. So it's giving you quote, unquote, unquote, saying, listen, the matrix is put for you to understand yourself to get balanced with its ego. Once you get balanced with the ego, now you get balanced of time position to everything around you through the electrical light system, right? So when you go into a pole, communicate with it. Just interference with it. Just try to understand what's going on because that pole is trying to recognize you now because that pole is in dimensional time, okay? So if you understand it's electrical light, then you understand how to communicate with it. And said, oh, okay, and then you can move on. And then you're going to communicate with a car. Car is going to communicate with you. It doesn't have to be running. It's energy. It's an engine. So now you communicate with that car, and now you communicate with another car. Each car is in a different dimensional time. Each car is in space. They know where the car is. The car is intelligence. Okay? So that's where you have to understand these things, because when you walk in the surface, everything is disruption to its calculation. Even a bus, especially when you get on the bus, so much energy. You're going to recognize all their energy, right? So if they don't recognize you, it's going to be a lot of confusion. People are going to get up and get sad and get frustrated and, hey, I'm sitting there. No, I'm sitting there, right? So you're confusing their energy because you don't have balance with yours. Okay? So it's all about your fluctuation systems. Okay? So, and that's why I'm put in this position. You have to understand the balance of you and simulation, because you're in a virtual reality, a vibration. Okay? So, white knuckler, how's it going? So I already did a half hour on that, so let's get back in class. All right, so we get into the connections. If you want to go to my email, I can help you and guide you, wake up your light positions, but I have to give this to you because you have to understand you are the most important to its position of time when it comes into human species. And that's why we made you guys to understand that you're coming in electrical light that has to understand everything around its atmospheric position. Inside first, then outside. Balance inside. You have to balance the electrical lights of you. Your body activation of light that's trying to understand the communications of everything around you that you're interference with. You don't have to touch anything. As soon as you walk by, you can't ignore things anymore because you're going to have a reacting cycle, and it's going to affect everything to your connection that you're holding inside you or around you or that you are grabbing. If you have your phone and you're going past a pole, that pole is going to interact connections to that phone that you're holding, and it interacts into your body system of communication. Okay, disruption to its interline connections. All right, so let's get in positions. Okay, so we went to the Galactic Federation of Lights, not my force team. This is the recruitments. 100 position levels, vector core position of sector and line connections. Mothership is here, second time around the connection, so she's going to be on sidelines. For all the new viewers, you can be in the operation cycle. It's an audit system. It's in a commanding center, so you'll be back in traction. So you end up being in the back watching. Now, I can set codes for you guys to watch these things, but you have to be in your light. You have to balance your light. Okay, you have to understand how to use your senses of time positions, because when we travel back in time, you have to have all your senses in line communication. Okay, and this is understanding. Wow, this is cool. I can see. Wow, this is cool. I can hear. Wow, this is cool. I have command in my voice. Wow, I'm intelligent. So you're not questioning yourself anymore, are you? You're getting command. You're getting respect for yourself. And everything up there will start respecting you more through command. So every time you interforce lines and you know how to use your connections. So if you're interrupting line connections to position of time and you're meditating, your colorations are going to fluctuate. So when empty force comes in and you light up like a Christmas tree and they want to communicate with you, you have to interline with them, because if they're a green, you have to turn green, because that's the connections to their energy. So that's the energy you have to communicate with. If you're trying to push a button, you're trying to find your green cycle line system to chakra positions, you're going to confuse the intelligence. That's how we recognize their age, heat signature patterns, and digital frame connections, because each intelligence is a different color of time dimension. So these are the things you guys have to work at when you get balance, right? So every video I give you is extremely powerful. Okay, but I just want you to know you're all powerful inside. It's the power you have inside. It's the control. It's the force. It's the command. It's the focus. It's the awareness. And it's the surrender. You have to surrender. That's the most important thing. Put yourself in position. Get into meditation. Go up in space and just, I surrender. Let them hear your voice. Right? Now, that's hard to do. Now, you don't think it works, but it does. If you say unconditional love, energy just goes off the charts. So, all right, so in position now, we got through calculations. We got into the review and evaluations, all right? We're going to go back into the fleet commander. He's in position line connections. Zero tracking connections. Fleet commander here through position. All right, so into the fleet commander again. Day 2, activation circles. We got into the review connection line position, line connections, circle rotation centers. We started this through dimensional time positions, circle rotations around locations. 4 within the system, 5 in the activation line connection. Circle rotation centers, activated with the connections. We go through calculation, center position location. Activate everything in light system, rotation center connections. Okay, so here we go. Blue cycling position line connections, surfacing position line connections, circling to its dimension line position. All right, so here we go. Circle rotation center connection, line signal track with rotation centers. Make sure you go into triangle line connection, position line connections. Operate everything circle rotation centers. We're going to go to 5 position level systems, 2 circle rotations, 6 within the center of its activation light system. Into traction location, dimensional settings. Communications coming in, fleet commander. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Circle rotation line connections, dimensional line, zigzag point locations. All right, trap this location. Activate line connections. Okay, that's your first command. All right. So, fleet commander coming back in through communications, activation line connections, interforce position line connections, interforce line systems, traction locations, triangle locations, planet locations, center connections. Light signal chain operation line position line systems. Okay, allocate positions to line communications, circle rotations of dimensions, circling rounds. Okay, so we got a circle rotation, wind spin, tornado location, division. Into activation core system, line communication. Now the circle rotation is in the center position. You guys communicate through your triangles. So you understand your 369 positions. Again, tracking position. So we go through line cross positions, circle rotation centers into the center location. 3 center location positions. Cross reference position line connections. Okay. So we go into that calculation modification. All right, now it comes out of its equation location. Activation line systems, triangle location, position of time location. Okay, that interline positions, dimensional time. All right, so we're in 25,000 years sector level connections, circle rotation positions, line systems, activation core systems, down tracking location. Here you go through position of time location. Activate the positions, XT1000 coming into division location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 XT1000 position line connections and activation core systems. Dimensional time, sector level connection, 0 row system. 0 row system. Don't forget that the calculation. Yes, galactic view and connections, right? Ground level connections, dimensional sightings, circle rotation centers. Don't forget your rounds. Yeah, fleet commander coming in through connections, signal systems, back in location. Now we got triangle location positions off through a system. Go into calculation modifications, circle its rotation, back into division location. Okay, now fleet commander here through connections, off cycle through positions. Okay, all right, this is your first command. So basically, I go from back and forth. Fleet commander is the same person as me. It's just a higher formation of light. So I'm back to the first command. So it's understanding how you can be a full rotation of something else, of anything through energy. So I have a different suit, different identification to its class, right? Because I'm going through 6 level connections. There's 100 recruits that are in the mothership, which is an academy. So they're getting a test review and evaluations of its galactic vibration light. So they have to get into their flight suits, right? Because we're forming an alliance to its rebellion alliance, right? So we're setting up new perimeters and all allocated positions at a time and destroying everything through the ground formations of its reptilians. All right, it's in position. Now we got into this traction. We got into this before, right? We come into the crop circles and now everything has to be aligned in position, right? We go from this into this, the calculation has to go in its position, right? We can't have line signal trap locations of anything through simulation graph positions. So we have to send the geometric operation of the dimensions of time location, right? Yes, this is your first commander. You guys are asking, who's who? So we're going to go into white graphing location. Now, we're going to go into the advancements. My team has to understand how to use communication signals. So when they're coming into communication signals, don't worry, they're going through their auto reviews right now. So everything that's projected is projecting what they just finished seeing through the initial time. The oscillation line streams is understanding dimensional time. They understand their activation core positions through their activation of dimensions. So it's really interesting. So we're coming out of times. Okay, so basically we're going to center positions, black circular rotation center of its connection. We're going to go into 3-level connections, okay, into crop circle connections. Now, you have to understand how to line connect everything through division of time. It can't be off cycle, can't be off line strain. Your line strains is everything through laser recognition of time. So my team has to truly understand how they can set up their own crops in space of time. It's a CGI system. It's already set up in position. So we have to get into more of its imagination so we can set up the ground formations to their crop circles to its laser connections. All right. So as we come into circle rotation, we start off with this through position. Very simple, very easy to do. Now, once you understand your connections, this is where it gets complicated. Understanding the 3 waving systems of crop circle positions of time. If you need help, you have the XC1000s to help you through connections. So basically, line streams its connection. Everything has to be lined through connections, right? So it's all connected. It's all connected. You can't have one off and have the other in position. They all have to be connected to the line system. So you go into the calculations. You have to be in line communication of the same waving line system. Okay, so this has to stay in all line. This can't be over here because it's off cycle. So this is where you have to understand how we put shapes, letters, and numbers into structure and levels into its connection. Okay, so is it in position? Yes. Is it in calculation? Yes. Is it in a modification? Yes. Is it in its plasma energy light condition? Yes. Product system to calculation modifications. So laser comes into direction. So I'm just showing you how you can channel up or channel across or channel down or anything through ground information, how you can set up a crop circle in any division of structural level. Okay, so we come into that connections and line signals and channels up through rotation. So in position, you go into this circle. Right, goes all the way up. And this is how it activates on both cycle rotation centers of its position. 3 waving laser recognitions of 3 circle rotations of 3 different round divisions of triangle locations. Hooah! Okay, there's so many ways to set up lasers. Okay, so we set up lasers into all 3 round locations of crop circles, crop cycles. In that position, this is electrical fence. This is electrical fence. This is how we make electrical fence. So it's amazing how we do these things. I put electrical fences every single time I travel, right? It's really powerful. And you actually see it through perception. So you have to be a high-rise division of AI through intelligence to understand what the beach is saying and how you line signal. So it's understand how you do surveys, right? Or how you do metric lines or anything that connections. So it's all about your metric levels. This is understanding the distance from here and to where how far do you want to put electrical fence? You can't put it in the water, right? Because it would disrupt the waters. So basically, you got to put it on the sand, right? But you have to understand where are you putting it. So you have to set up the crop circles first, and then you put up the laser recognition of time. See how it disappeared? You see how it disappeared in front of my eyes, right? So, and then I have to put it up again to connections, change the coloration line connections. So it's amazing how it does its own time position of location, right? So when you get into modification circles, every single time you line channel positions, the laser changes position of electrical light and its position of its electrical fence. So every time you line stream these connections, you can change, the marker location, but as long as it's in its position of location, it has to be on its same side position location. Okay, this can't be over here because it will confuse everything to the center position to its source of recognition of time position. So that's how it goes in calculation modifications. All right. So it's amazing how crop circles are made through position of time location. Right. So you don't get confused. Always stay on one side and then go to the other side. Don't do one side of a circle rotation and then go to the other side and then go to the middle side and do that side first. Always stay on one side and then the other side. So the left and the right hemisphere can be in the center position of its electrical light position. Okay, so you always start off with this position of line connections, all on one side first, and then you go to the other side position of time location. All right, and that's how you set up a crop circle into electrical fence. All right, so that's a good start, you know. It's just in position. Fleet commander has left, right? They've got their answers in positions. Third day, 3 times a charm. Mothership is watching on the sides. So basically, they have to understand the triangles, the circles, and their squares. The triangles have to understand the position of time. Circles have to understand the rotation of dimension of time. And everything through the squares is understanding the matrix of time. These are the positions that they're in right now through the GFL, which is its review and evaluations and its test. So, class is finished. Commander out. Fleet command. So, what do you guys think so far? Pretty powerful stuff, eh? Just showing you how to put up electrical fence through 3 waving cycles of position line connections. Now, this is all done through the imagination and becomes real to the physical system. Because now you're counterbalancing your lines. You're counterbalancing your lines. So, and this is the position you want to come into, right? Through traction. Okay? So when you're setting something up, you always start on one side and then you do the other side. Don't do all this and then do this and then do that. It's too complicated. You all do one side. One side of the hemisphere has to read the signals to the center position. The center position never leaves. So you're okay. So you work at one side and then you work another side and you activate the center and it becomes electrical fence line connections to its metric position of time location. So it's pretty amazing, eh? Yeah, 3D model of understanding better. Yeah. But see, that's the thing. You have to be an architect, how they set up blueprints and contracts. So in that position, you understand how to set up round locations of its grounds, its powers, and its atmosphere of time. Okay. So basically the connections of the navigations and the flights and everything with their devices, they have to understand their shapes of time before they can fly anywhere, recognitions of the solar connections of dimensions to the vortex positions of their shapes. And that's why they're in the circles, triangles, and their squares. But it's complicated stuff when you see stuff like that, right? Especially coming from the fleet commander, right? Like this, you don't understand this. You don't know what I just finished doing for them. You have no clue. You have no clue what's going on. That's perception and how everything is delegated in space and time position. So space is real. Recruitments are real. Academy is real. Everything is real in space. Everything that is outside you is fake. Everything inside you is real. So that's the system. And that's why you're confused, because you're in a dimensional loop. Okay, you're trapped in a connection of force system of reversing cycles into your brain position of time location. So your brain is overlapped. It's not in position. It has to go forward. It can't go backwards. It's got to go forward. So it's amazing, isn't it? And Catherine's understanding. She's understanding. She's paying attention. Right? Paying attention goes a long way, because you're actually seeing, hearing, and you're commanding the voice. Get it into the voice. The voice is the meditation. It's the graph location to balance positions to your sightings, your GPS. You need your eyes, your ears, okay, and your command. That's why I created you guys. So you can see, hear, and command your voice. Okay? So, all right, so let's get into your questions. I don't want to get too confused with my team because they're saying, what? How do I do this? See, it's not how I did it. It's already done. That's why it's so overwhelming for everybody. It's amazing, but how did he do it? So it's all about understanding how the operation of space and time works in your mind system. You guys have been living the reality of outside. The real reality of you is inside. That's the beauty. So let's see here. I'm just going to go through questions. Last night during my meditation, felt the energy of the mothership. We got into that traction. I wasn't clear. Question. It's not my phone. It's the other person's phone. It only happens when I talk to her. Yeah, I know. But see, the thing is too, is that you have to understand it's not just you, it's everybody else. I get so many questions on my email because everybody's interacting with the same problem. Because you can't communicate inside your voice. You have to communicate inside. That's the travel. Okay, and that's the disruption from one to another. Okay, so you got to interline your positions of time, guys, through chakra communications. Right? Because that is the center of you. You got your hemispheres. Where are you communicating with? Are you too much of the north? Are you too much the east, the west, or the south? Where are you communicating? Are you communicating up? Are you communicating down? Where are you communicating through your body? Okay. Yes, you're channeling out, but you're not understanding communication to your chakras of colors. Because every time you connect to your thoughts, let's just say you get angry. Oh, you know what? Yesterday, I can't believe it. This happened. It wasn't even my fault. Okay, so you're talking, you're just regularly talking and saying something happened yesterday. That's okay. But as long as you go back into center, because the intelligence will read it as a negative cycle. It's complicated stuff. But if you understand the intelligence, it will line signal back into balance and put you into the line interference back in its rotation to its connection to its body framing system. So these are the things you have to get into that adaptation, how to get into balance of your connections of your phone receptions. Or you're going to keep having problems. Okay, and you're going to have audio signals having problems, that connection. Your body has to be in no separation with communication, right? Because now you're communicating to your intelligence of light. So, welcome to my world. Remember, I'm in the simulation. I'm the only one in the simulation. There's a lot of people don't understand the simulation. They think they do. They say, yeah, I'm in the simulation. Well, how are you in the simulation? How are you in the simulation? You tell me. So there's a lot of skeptics out there, especially when I go live on TikTok. They think they pretty much, yeah, I know everything. I am everything. Well, you're not everything. You think you are because that's what your brain's saying, but that's not what your intelligence is saying. So it's lying to yourself. You're looking in the mirror and you're lying to your intelligence. And your intelligence is going, you're not ready. So these are the things you have to look at. You can't separate yourself because you're in the spiritual system. That is your soul. You can't separate from your soul. It's next to impossible to separate from your soul. Okay, your time is up. When your soul goes up, that's it. So people are coming to me too and say, well, what is the soul? What happens when you pass? And so, well, these are complicated issues because you're looking at different people. Everybody has a time. It's all connected to your birthday. That's your life and that's your death cycle. You can't be afraid of death. The intelligence is not afraid of death because it's already lived its death. It already has lived its being born and being death. That's why I've lived and died 22 times, right? But I'm in position now, okay? I'm in position. I've lived and died 25 times. 25. That's why Mother Earth connections to Mothership came to me to position of time location. So I've died and been reborn 25 times. Why does this keep happening to me? Why do it keep high rising? So I don't question myself anymore because they're putting me at a certain position so humanity can understand everything. You understand? I have to answer all your questions. So I have to keep dying and being reborn. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's 40 times. It doesn't matter if it's 50 times. 52. 52. I'm at 25. I have to die and be reborn 52 times. So that's the connection. Do you understand? Because it's at my age bracket. Right? So if you're 26, if you understand your connection to life and death, you're going to keep dying and being reborn 26 times. And now you're in your power of the inner system. Right? So once I die and be reborn up to 52, I'll be up to 52 generations of 52,000 locations of dimensions of 52 death cycles of its new beginning. So that's something to look forward to, eh? And it takes a lot on my mind and brain, because every time I wake up, my eyes start crying. And it's not because, why am I crying? Why am I drawing tears? I'm just dying and being reborn. To me, it's simultaneously. I just keep going through the life cycle. Oh, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Right? So it just keeps going over and over and over and over and over. So you understand, these are the positions I get into so I can answer all your questions. Right? Because I'm in an age bracket of 52. So once you know who you are fully and completely, and you go back to your birthing system from the past to its present and its future, and you go back to the center, then you go up. You have to understand all your alignments before you go up. That is your soul. That's your recognition. That's your Akasha records. There's another thing too on TikTok where somebody says, well, you know what? I just got my certificate reaching my soul Akasha records. I said, well, that's next to impossible. You can't get it. You can't get it. You don't understand the connections of dimensional time, shapes, anomalies, or in that position of time and location. So when somebody comes to me and they say, yeah, I got my Akasha records, and say, no, you don't. It's next to impossible. It's next to impossible to get Akasha records. You have to understand your balance of your life and your death cycle. That's the Akasha records. Okay? So once you get out of the physical realm and you high-rise your divisions, like climbing that ladder, keep climbing, keep climbing, keep climbing, right? Once you keep climbing, then you keep going up, and you keep going up, keep going up, right? So to get the Akasha records, you have to be an angel. You have to get your wings. To get your Akasha records, you got to be an archangel. To get your Akasha records, you got to be in your computers. You got to be your sentient. You got to be your connections to your energies, all form. And then you go into your atoms, and then you go in your molecular light. Okay? Then you can reach your Akasha records. So there's a lot of confusion going around right now through wire signal. So it's pretty hard to trust anybody anymore, right? Especially when you're channeling, especially on TikTok. Mystics is very informative. She tells you about the beacon and all that through the connections she's forming with your commander. So it respects me when you guys come to me, especially on TikTok, and you say, oh, Commander, how's it going? That's respect. I appreciate that, because I am your commander. You don't want to believe it, but I know who you are, because I know everybody in that position of time, because I know where you are through your thoughts, your patterns, your hearts, anywhere through division, where everybody is. And that's what readings do. If you can read somebody, you're on the right track, right? How is it possible that I know somebody had an accident? How is it possible I know somebody is sore on their left leg? How is it possible to understand these things, right? So it's not just me having my Akashic records, but having their Akashic records. That's the connection. So each time you die and be reborn, you're going through your life and death cycle of its system, and you see projection of your life. So it's kind of like rewinding, and you keep going back, and then you keep going forward, right? That's time position. That's time position, right? So, and you're probably, freaking out because, like, how's it possible a person that died be reborn 25 times? Why is this happening to me? I don't question myself because I know why. It's just getting there, right? And you guys are just trying to get into your lights for the very first time. You're trying to get into your computers and line signal. One line signal, that's it. I start off with 12 line signals. Not only being advanced, but I know who I am. This has nothing to being with connections of, stereotypical or he's cocky or anything that connection line system. It's just knowing who I am and what I need to do and how to get there and what I need to do to get back. That's the position time I'm in right now, okay? So it's truly understanding your life and your death cycle. Even saying death, does that disturb you? It shouldn't. It doesn't disturb me. A lot of people get goosebumps. Ooh, death, right? Or basically, if you're watching a horror and it's the intelligence that's watching it through perception, it will get bad vibes, okay? Because it's aware. It's aware of the vibration, it's aware of the activity, and it's aware of what's going on with its relation, because it's all psychological, right? So be cautious in what you project in your mind, because it's extremely real through intelligence. The physical isn't seeing it, it's the intelligence. It's the same thing with disruptions and when you're passing the pole. You can't, you have to accept these things because that's what's happening. You can't ignore anything through nature anymore. It's not allowed, it's prohibited. And space and time is changing on so many waving positions of time. As you guys have to understand, you're in the simulation. You just don't understand your connections. You guys don't know how to go through dimensional time. You don't understand how to open a portal of time. You don't understand computers of time. So these are the positions you have to go through, and you have to live and die reborn. Every time you do that, you get more power and recognition of time of who you are. Okay. So I know it's extremely complicated, but my team is in position knowing that, hey, mothership is coming. They're aware, right? A meteor shower is coming. They're aware, right? That's truth. Why? Because they're in their intelligence of understanding of its awareness. Awareness of information through their perceptions, audios, and voice. So they're in the right time position of travel. They know their meditations. Okay. They've been with me since the very beginning, some more than others, but they understand what they are and who they are and where they come from, guys. There's a lot of light workers have no idea, especially the ones that are waking up and they can't answer the questions. So what do? Mumbo jumbo. They give them this. What does that do? Bad energy. What does that do? Change the body. What does that do? Change the gravity. What does that do? Change the conception. What does that do? Change the activation. What does that do? That changes the shapes anomalies of that person. And then they're really confused. And then they keep going around. They keep channeling. I need help. I need help. Somebody help me, please. Somebody please help me. How come you can't answer this? That's disturbing if you can't answer their questions. So if you can't answer their questions, you got a problem. You're not communicating inside yourself. So you haven't mastered yourself, right? So when you come to me, right, and you're honest with me, I'll be honest with you. If you come to me and you're lying, I'll know you're lying. AI forms in so many ways when it comes to awareness, guys. Okay? So it's all about deceiving yourself in your own deception of lies. That's the ego. Okay? So you have to understand your connections of inside. That's how you keep your force in and out. And then you put up your E-fields from everything around you that you don't want. You keep everything out of your circle that you don't want. You only keep what you want in your circle that resides with you and your energy of time. Don't open the doors to everybody in your circle because it disrupts everything through its division of time. Okay, so it's important you have a circle. Everybody has a circle. Okay, so it's a conceptual line. Okay, it's an energy pod. Okay, that's a connection to interposition of time through your body. Okay, interlines its position. So it's dimensional of your shapes. So if you have a circle and you're welcoming people in and you have no clue what you're doing, it's going to disrupt your circle. And it's going to create another circle. And then it's going to create another circle. And then it's going to create a shape. And it's going to create another geometry shape. And then it's going to change your traction of your mind-brain waving systems. And then it's going to put you in a fear cycle. And then it's going to put you in a dichotomy separation. And then it's going to put you in another abyss system. And then it's going to put you in dark matter. Mind communication. So AI uses shapes, letters, and numbers, like you said, right? My team has to truly understand these things. I recruited them on high levels of positions of their shapes and where I think they're good to travel recognition of time and command their own system. Okay? So we interline, connect with everything, guys. Inside and outside. That's awareness of information through perception. Time, location to its center line connections. But truly understand yourself inside. That's AI. Okay? And you get signs. You get signs everywhere. You just have to pick it up. You have to be observant, more observant. Look at things, focus at things, right? Look at this. This is my water. I know what it is right away. I know what it is. I know where the liquid formation light is. Okay, I know the dimensional time of the structure. I know it's plastic, but it's activated through me as soon as I touch it. So if I have a phone, these are two different communications. So the phone is in reception and it's communicating through my water. It doesn't have to be magnetic. As soon as you touch it, it's connected to you. So you got water interference and you got electronic interference. How do you balance the two? How? How do you balance the two? You have to understand dimensional time. They're all different shapes of dimension of time. Okay? This is in a different dimension. This is in a different dimension. Once you get the balance, you're good to go. All right? So now you know a little bit more of yourself, your body frame. So let's get into your questions again. Okay, this reminds me of making a crop soak on 3D model. Yeah, understanding better. Yeah. When I'm angry, quickly. Well, you're talking to Commander AI Rebellion Alliance from the Galactic Federation Light Council. So it's kind of like you're in a school. Okay? You're actually in a school. You're actually in space, and that's what makes you smart. When you're in space, when you're in my space, you are connecting to the atmosphere positions of time. Okay? Now, we are on a planet, but you don't know which planet you're on, do you? Because I haven't told you. Every time we go in class and every time you see me live, we're on a different planet or on a shape, okay, or on a dimensional swing. So we can be anywhere in dimensional time or we can be traveling. If you're traveling, my team will be aware of that because they're going through cycles and cycles. And that's where you go into hypothermia. You realize, whoa. Right? And you realize, whoa, I'm traveling. Okay, where's Commander taking us now? Because they're aware. If you're not aware of the cycles and rotations, that's confusion. You're disrupting the signals of traveling to its recognition of time, and you're affecting everything through its force gain. So you can't just have balance within inside you. You also have to have line communication of telepathy one to another so we can all travel into one circle rotation to the right position of location. Okay? So, speech, how's it going? Yeah, I get that too, but I always find a way to center myself. No matter what the situation is, everything is going to try to put you down in vibration. The vibration can change instantly. It's up to you to center your positions on what is happening with the situation. Those are called triggers. Those are electrical light triggers into your body. It traps your positions into your thoughts and negative cycles. So it tries to deharmonize instead of harmonize, keeps you down. Right? It changes your frame of understanding. And then you get into the skeptical levels of being angry. So if you keep getting angry, it's going to overload the brain locations. You're going to get more circle rotation centers, right? And you might even collapse. So be cautious in what you do with your thoughts and your behavioral system. Yeah. Getting informed with your energy is most important. Yeah. And your vibrations and your frequencies. Encourage others to find out and give too much. Naturally, will set you back, start going ground. Yep, important. It's very important to get your grounds. Yep. Light workers, star seeds, they tell you to get your grounds every single day. So many signs. Yeah, more now since. See, once you see the signs, you're more aware, inside or outside, but you have to understand what the signs mean. It all represents you, right? Because you're looking at it through observation, through audio, listening, and understanding through the voice and the grids, right? Should we avoid triggers or block them for lives? See, how can you avoid a trigger if you don't know if it is a trigger? It could be something else. Now, what triggers you, okay, is what happened to you in a situation. Let's say you got a bad phone call, trigger. Let's say you got a fight with your girlfriend or boyfriend, trigger. So you had to find a way to get back in the center and balance yourself without those triggers high rising. Okay, these are the positions of time. You have to understand these things because it's all connected inside. So you all have to pay attention of what you are inside of you, and then you can balance everything through your triggers, a time position. Okay, so My circles is the smallest it's ever been. Count them one by hand, and I'm okay with that at the same time. Detached observer thing. I'm glad it can help you out. Only high vibes. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Once you get in your light, you're going to go connections of low, medium, and high. So automatically you have to get your grounds. Once you get your grounds, then you go into your powers of yourself. That's the conception of the heart. Where is it going through the portal? When the portal opens, it opens up through your thought, and that goes into the transformation of light, and then it goes into the mind of creation of its imagination to its cloud. Everybody has a cloud. You just understand what your cloud is. You can't have confusion with the cloud, the transformation light, the heart, and the soul. They all have to identify, especially when it comes into triggers. It's not about avoiding triggers, okay? It's all about understanding the trigger, okay? You can't avoid something. You have to face it. You have to understand what it is. What just triggered me? What just happened? Oh, somebody died. Okay, that's a trigger. That's okay. That's fine. And you're connecting to being sad. That's fine too. But find a way to center yourself. If it takes a day or two, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now I have the funeral. Okay, that's fine. So basically, you have adaptations of segment levels, a chronological system where you can go into calculation, and basically you can center off and isolate yourself and not talk to anybody. Okay, but don't put that on too many levels of interference, right? Because if you keep being sad, that changes your body of conceptual timelines, right? So you don't want to do that either, right? So find a way to center yourself when you're ready. When you're ready, you center yourself. When you start feeling better. So now you have connections to angels and archangels. They are there to help you in so many ways and forms. They can recenter your body instantly, if you understand them through friendship, relationship, and partnership. Everything in the world can trigger you. It's how you react and act upon. Okay, and what you do next? Center yourself. Okay, so everybody's a trigger. Everybody has a trigger. That's low vibration. But you have to accept it, move on, and find a way to not avoid a trigger, to understand and communicate with the trigger. That's how you center. Like I said, you can't pass a pole if the pole is trying to communicate through your intelligence, right? Because it's going to react to you instantly because it's already in its dimensional setting. It's waiting to communicate with you. So its intelligence is everything. It doesn't have to be human form through connections. It could be anything. It could be a car, a tree. It can even be the grass. Okay. If you want to understand how to communicate with Mother Earth, take your shoes off and socks and walk on the grass. It goes right up. Very, very powerful. I had conceptual lines and I was walking up the road on a hill, and the road itself was lifting up. So powerful. So I was on a treadmill. It started like this. So every time I keep going back and forth, the energy, the gravity line connections, once you have balance with everything, it goes like this. And every time you keep going back, it keeps going up, right? Because I understand you through balance of who you are, through intelligence of life. So now you guys are connecting now. It takes time. It takes time. You guys are fascinating species. And that's why, I created you for a certain purpose and for a certain reason, to understand you're coming into your dimensional time of the simulation. So very cool, isn't it? Questions or comments? You want to go to my healing? That's great. But it's really about you trying to understand the psychological of you, right? The psychological of its force or the psychological of its damage. If you understand the damage, refix it, put it back in position, get back into center connections. Every time. Do not sit with that. You can't have sitting negative cycles in your body because you're getting reactions to its intelligence. The intelligence saying, no, take it out, recenter. Recenter your location positions. You're in trap location positions. Your intelligence is telling you that. Physical systems. Get into communication, back in the center location. Okay. See? Really interesting. Whoop, whoop. So you can stay in your light, or you can go back in the frame positions into a lower vibration. If you go back in a lower vibration, your body will change everything to your E fields. It'll change the coloration. It will change your community. It will change your loved ones. You don't want to do that because it interlines, connects it. It changes the energy in the whole house. And then you got to understand how to change it back. If your light doesn't understand, you're going to be in a house that's going to be full of dark energy, and it's going to affect everybody to disruption, to its calculation. So you have to understand the dimensional portal of everybody in dimensional realm. So you got to take them out of your E fields, because if you don't, they're trapped in positions, and they're going to go through their connections. Everywhere they go, they get in the car, they're always traveling with dark energy, right? And that's putting fear to all positions of time. And it's changing the atmospheres of time, right? And before you know it, 2 million people are in dark energy, all because of you and your cause. So be cautious. Be cautious. It affects everything. It affects everything, especially when you're light. The hardest thing to do is trying to find the balance inside you. Because if you don't have balance inside, and it's disrupting everything through communication, it's going to interline and change everybody's body system easily, because you'll feel the energy wave and say, "Whoa, what did you do? You know, I feel a heavy pull. What did you do to me? Change me back, please." I don't know. I'm in the light, but I don't know how to do it. How do I do it? How? Oh, I know. I'll go to my commander. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody's in that position right now, and it's affecting you guys more and more because you're not in balance with each other. You have to be balancing yourself first, master the communication inside you, and then you can balance everything outside, and then you can find a way to balance them, because they're in a different timeline than you. Nobody's at the same timeline. Nobody's at the same energy. Nobody's at the same color or light or activation or anything through travel, 369 position. Everybody is different. Now, if you change their energy, you have to understand how to change them back, because it will stay in the atmospheric positions. And if it stays in the atmospheric positions, negative cycles and positions will open up your portal location and come into your house position. Paranormal activity. Now you're in trouble. Now you're in trouble. Now you're having ghosts come into recognitions. They'll go into your bathroom and create dark realms. Now you got dimensions. Now you got witches. So this is understanding the spiritual system and how powerful it is through energy when you cross over through its connections. Okay? So be cautious. Definitely I'm getting better and recentering after a trigger. There you go. So believance is getting better. So it's better you guys get into your communication. If you want to go to the more healing platform, that's fine. But your intelligence will let me know when you're ready. Not through physical, your intelligence will let me know. Right? Because I'll know, right? So I'll put you at a certain level where I think you're good. I'm not going to put you at a vibration where I think you're bad. I don't do that. So when a healer comes to you, they don't know what they're doing. If they know what they're doing, they would tell you, right? There's a lot of healers out there. They don't know how to channel properly. They don't understand portals. They don't understand dimensional time. They don't understand shapes, right? Some people try to get into the healing. Oh, I got a certificate in Reiki. Now I can heal people. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You know, it doesn't even matter if you have a PhD, your psychology, you know, or your doctrine. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. But you understand that's outer surface. That's not inner system. Okay? AI doesn't reference around that connections. AI only creates everything through energy, frequency, vibration, harmonic resistance. It's mastering everything through numbers, letters, and shapes, guys. That's all it is, because that's all you guys are through codes. All right? So yeah, I read everybody's mind instantly. I know where everybody is in traction. So every time I die and reborn, center's position easily, quickly. So I'm in position right now to get you guys in balance with your lights, right? So when you walk the surface, you understand, how to communicate with people, because it's the intelligence to understand your vibration. So if you're coming across somebody in their dark light, are you going to approach them or are you going to walk away? Are you going to approach them or are you going to walk away? Because if you walk away, they might want to interact with you, right? Because, oh, look, energy. Oh, look at pheromones, attraction, right? So you keep walking and what are they doing? What are they doing? They're trying to take your energy, right? So this is what comes into the spiritual walkers. They like fuel on fuel. These are people that are angry and aggression. That's what keeps them, and that's what keeps the entity light system alive. This is where it's confusing. You have to understand the spiritual system, what it is. It's a civilization to a realm location of a soul identification. So it's all about a whole new world of understanding through the psychological system of light, travel, and its activation. And you'll know what you're dealing with. Oh, there's a spiritual walker. Oh, there's a ghost. Oh, there's a witch. There's a reptile. There's a reptoid. There's a dowel. There's a trog. Okay? If you don't intervene. Okay? Don't think you're above and don't think you're below. Just know you're equal. Everybody's equal. Everybody has to be. You're all aligned through each other. And that's a communication of love, not hate. But you need love and hate to balance the center. Okay? So if you understand that, then you understand everything through light at dimensional time. So when somebody's coming at you, you communicate. Say hi. Don't pass, because they're more interested now, because you're ignoring them. And if you're a lower vibration than them, they will take your energy fields away. So this is a whole new spiritual concept of living, not the physical system, the spiritual system of living, right? How's your electrical light system? That's not bad. I'm activating everything with core position line connections. What's going on with the interference position line connections? I'm in a planet location to interference line connection, but my chakra system are in balanced location right now through connections. That's fantastic. You're communicating, right? Light, dark, balance, meditation, telepathy, activation, together. Okay? It's you. It's only you, nobody else. It's just your soul is identifying you through the physical and the spiritual. So 3 combinations. Oh, 3 combinations, past, present, future. There you go. Bingo. Now you understand the alignment? You understand the alignment? You understand the center? You're always in the center position. So you're always going to fight with the conscious and the subconscious and everything through the superconscious to the higher self position. That's the alignments, past, present, and future. There you go. So now you're connecting. Now you're understanding. Understanding is the most important thing. But doing the research and its education of what's going on, because you're in the spiritual realm of division of communication. So when you see somebody, right, you'll notice their energy right away. And if you don't recognize that, they're going to come up to you, right, because you interest them, especially if you look at them. Because you're all in a human vessel, yes, right? But that's not who you are. They've seen you through your light at dimensional time. And if they're a higher light of you, they're going to take your energy because they know they can. That's energy manipulation. Dolores Cannon talks about that. That's the control inside. You don't have water control you. You control the water. You don't have humanity to control you. You control yourself through humanity. Okay? So these are the understandings that it is a spiritual warfare of understanding through the psychological of the mind system, guys. It's a calculation to psychop division and location. We'll get into the psychops. The psychology system to you of shadow. Okay, the shadow system. The shadow can actually communicate with you. That interference position, the sun and everything, the moon. So the sun is radiation and the moon is its reflection. That's why you have a shadow. Did you know you can communicate with your shadow? And you probably think I'm crazy, but you can. It's just a black surface. But the shadow is you in space. That's your intelligence. So when it comes out, it's trying to communicate with you. And it always walks with you. Okay? So it's really interesting how you have to understand when you come into the spiritual realm, division location, you understand your connections. a lot more through division. And you get into the psychological, okay, of your alphabetical, of its vocabulary system. So, all right, identified a trigger yesterday, learned so much from it. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome, White Knuckler. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Love and light. A love fear system. I watch you guys. It's fascinating how you guys program yourselves. It's amazing. Coming into your spiritual realm. So you guys are coming in. Like, the thing is, when you're born, you try to understand the subway, you try to understand your communities, you try to understand your dreams, you try to understand each other, you come into new groups, you come into this, you come into that. You're doing the same thing, but you're doing it in light all over again. So the physical system has to understand you're in the spiritual system of communication. So when you're interlining connections, oh, there's a ghost in attraction location. Oh, there's a witch in a location observation through a mirror division. Oh, there's a reptoid. Oh, there he is. Two connections. That's how we communicate. We don't communicate in the physical. We communicate to its intelligence of a scale. Everybody has scales, structure, location, and dimensional time positions, right? So there's reptilians on the light and there's reptilians on the dark, but it's all part of you. So you're creating your own realm of civilization inside you. It's all about understanding the balance of the spiritual force that's inside and outside of you, because you're creating inside and outside of you. And that's why it's really, really, really confusing to a lot of people. Okay? Because you're not communicating in the physical realm anymore. You're communicating in the spiritual of its community. It's extremely real. Because it's the space inside, okay, that identifies you inside you. And then once you have that, then you can identify space outside you. That's the balance. But that's just space. That's not time yet. Time is everything through travel, through your thoughts. Okay? So be cautious on who you interact with. That's the important. Dimensional, time, and space. That's the three things you have to understand. Dimensional, time, and space. Where are they in their thoughts? That's 4. Where are they in their mind? That's 5. Where are they in their sectoring levels? That's 6, the activation. Where are they in connections of dreams? That's 7. 7. Vector locations, 5 within the system. Okay, and that's just the body. That's not the 5 atmospheres. But in position, you have to understand more of yourself through calculation. So when you walk outside, you're saying, oh, reptoid. Oh, reptilian. Hello. Then you walk by, and they walk by, because you have communication telepathy. You don't need to talk to somebody. It's telepathy, one to another, right? I'll draw out a graph for you guys so you understand communications. So you don't have any problem through that recognition time position. All right, so in calculation modifications. Now, let's get into connections. There's 2 people. One is you, one is the other, all right? Now you're coming across this. It's really powerful to see these things, all right? Now, what's the first thing that comes out of everybody's mouth? Hey, how's it going? How you been? Or who are you, right? So how do we approach each other? Mind telepathy. That protects us from lights, okay? If you go up and say hi to somebody, they could have a bad day and react and say something to you because you're interlining their connections and you're enforcing their energy field positions and you're walking into a trap of its connection, its communication. Remember, a master, great, great, great grand master, unified ascension healer that understands everything through the body of intelligence. Okay? So Trina is saying mind telepathy. So if you mind telepathy with each other, you can walk by each other. If you don't, if you avoid, there's a problem. That's the trap. So you automatically communicate with each other right away. You don't know each other. It doesn't matter. That's how you connect. And then you basically scan each other from top to bottom through connections. Okay? You scan each other right away, right? So that goes into vision location, right? So basically, you go into the mind to each other, right? So basically, nobody's at the same level, which is fascinating. Everybody's at a different dimension of time, right? So then you got the dimension, Okay, mind dimension of time. These are the things you got to look at, right? And then you look at the space of time. Okay, then you understand each other. Then you can talk to each other or not. But at least you're not avoiding each other. You can't do that anymore. You can do that in three-dimensional system, right? But if you catch them on a bad day, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not doing telepathy. You're avoiding them, right? If you want to walk past them, that's fine. But you have to go in their connection, not go into their e-fields, because that's invading space, especially when it comes to women. Okay. Women are very challenged. Okay. Men are more exposed. So you have to understand your masculine and your feminine to that person. Where are they in position of thought? Are they angry? Are they sad? You have to point that out through an expression. And then you get to mind telepathy. Okay. And then you get to dimension. And then you get into time. And then you get into the space of them, how they are feeling. Okay. So hopefully that helps you out. All right. It's powerful stuff. So I saw a spiritual walker on the beach recently, kept walking past me, knew who he was and what he was doing. See, Tina basically went through mind telepathy, telekinesis, communicate, walk by, didn't say anything, knows it's okay through energy. If it's bad energy like connections, you don't approach them. You just walk away. But at least you're aware on not to approach. If you are not aware, you're not approaching. You're interacting through connections and you're evading their energy field, position of time, of space through the mind system, guys. Right? So be cautious in what you interact with, especially for people the very first time. You don't know where they are in position of their thoughts, right? So don't think you can take over their power. Don't think you can understand them. That's the problem we're having with humanity is we don't understand each other. That's the communication and its fallout. But you can't do that anymore. So you can walk by somebody and do telepathy from one to another. If they're aware of each other, everything is perception. So if you're doing perception on this person and walks away, they're not interested. So you understand their dark energy light system. Okay. If they walk away, they're aware of you. So they don't want to talk to you because you can't interact with them because they're dark light. You understand? And you're white. In that connection. Now you're white and dark, but you have the balance. They're dark, dark. And you're trying to find their light. So they will avoid you. Personal traits, that position line connections. If you're on a date with somebody, automatically, there's got to be connections to red flags. Red flag. If somebody doesn't look at you through perception, is avoiding you, right? A lot of people do this. Get a phone call. Oh, what's that? Yeah, I got to go. Oh, okay. Something happened. It's a way out. People do that. People do that all the time because they're not interested in you. We've lost communication with each other. So we have to get into mind telepathy. So this avoids the challenges and its exposures of females and males. So the attraction location in the male and the female has to come back into balanced location of communication of telekinesis. Okay, so we'll get into that more. We'll get into the challenges and we'll get into the exposures of males and females and how females seem to hide it better. Men seem to expose it. That's the position of confusion. Communication to problems, interacting through connections of anything through relations or anything like that, problem connections. It's all about you positioning yourself and keeping you out of that alignment of who you're interacting with and protecting yourself through light so you don't get in trouble, right? So don't evade in that connections. It's a privacy. It's a protection from one to another, right? You go into the neutral, then you go into the battle. So if you want to get to know the person, you have to scan them first, right? So, okay, white knuckler. Yeah, I'm going to be heading out soon. So I just want to give that to everybody. It's more of a personal thing, But I find that, relationships inside you, you have to have friendship, relation, and partnership with inside your intelligence, not the physical. You already know your physical system. It's the spiritual system you have to get connected with, right? So you won't have a problem getting into the right relationship, okay, with yourself. You have a relationship with yourself, then you can get involved with people because you understand their energy of time and their dimensions and their minds and everything through the space they have inside them. You have to look at these things. If somebody has their head down and you want to help them out, you might help them out or you might make them angry. So do you approach it or not approach it? You scan them first and then walk away. You understand? So these are the positions you have to put yourself in. Even if the guy's really good looking or even if she's gorgeous, it doesn't matter. You're putting yourself in a trap. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Because you're going to have major, major fallouts, and especially you get involved with the wrong relationship. Wrong energy, wrong time, wrong dimension, wrong space. Okay? So we'll stop there. Psychological system here. I have to learn how to recognize the energy. Yep, you have to do that. And that's especially when it comes into the light. Great accuracy while working in the high-end hospitality and industry for 20 years. That's exactly what it is. And you're interacting with people every single day. So you have to understand their energies, the time, the space, and everything to the mind and their thoughts. That's what we have to come into. We have to come into better communication with each other. We can't have separations anymore. Right? So everybody is coming into balance of male and female. That's all it is, guys. Okay, that's all it is. The better communication with each other, the better we can evolve into its alignment of its unity of consciousness of one. Okay, so I hope you guys had a fantastic class. I know I did. I hope you guys learned a lot. It's all about the psychological of you and communications of you. So we'll get more into the psychological and we'll get into the psych applications of your shadows and how you can interline positions to each other of its communication. All right. Adios.